Rollins will be out of action for the month of February and will not compete at the next ECW pay-per-view, guilty as charged. I know what he did was wrong, but should you attack him here tonight, it'll make you just as much of a man as he is. Go home. Oh my goodness! Gibson just pinned the Cruiserweight Champion! He couldn't keep his hands to himself. The brawl is on backstage. Gargano and Ciampa at each other's throats. McIntyre slipping into the ring and attacking Naito. There's a long time to go until WrestleMania and a long time for him to make his mind up. Until then, let the celebrations roll on, because one guy, and one guy alone, is going to WrestleMania, and we know who that is. Never stop living in the moment, Adam Cole. Hello and welcome Universe Mode. This is ECW. This is, of course, the show of the week on its way for you. And well, the reality is that it is certainly a very interesting time on this brand right now. We are, of course, on our way towards the next ECW pay-per-view, which will be guilty as charged a week from Sunday. But, of course, we know that everything going on right now is pretty up in the air. We know that everything going on right now is pretty, well, the best way of saying it is out of the blue. It's insane right now. We saw it on last week's show, and you saw it in the build-up, and we saw it involving this man here. To start off this evening, he will explain himself. There will be no action for Tommaso Ciampa. He will explain his actions here tonight, and he will explain them without any interference. Johnny Gargano has been suspended as a result of the actions last week. Tommaso Ciampa will explain himself and will then leave the arena instantly, because I do not want any altercations to be happening. That is to come to start off this evening. We will be hearing from why Ciampa turned his back on Gargano at the Royal Rumble. That is to come at the start of the evening. At the end of the evening, we have some big action coming your way. Drew McIntyre versus Kenny Omega, one-on-one, a rematch from New Year's Revolution. McIntyre got himself involved in the insanity at the main event of last week, attacking Tetsuya Naito in the ring. And tonight, he'll take on a man who he beat already this year at New Year's Revolution in Kenny Omega. A chance for retribution for Omega, and a chance for McIntyre to show what he's all about. That is all to come this evening, but first we will hear from the Psycho Killer. And here he comes towards the ring. A wild look on the face of Ciampa. And after the brawl that commenced throughout the arena last week on ECW, it's glad that things are actually a little bit calm here for a change. It's glad that we actually have some semblance of normality around here. But Tommaso Ciampa has the story that we all want to hear, and he is not wasting any time in telling us either. Why, Ciampa, why? Why did he turn his back on Gargano? They were the best of friends, and it stopped. Tommaso Ciampa is not set to be remembered in his career as a loser, as a tag team wrestler who wasn't good enough. That ain't it. That is not the brunt of why Ciampa did what he did. But I imagine the Psycho Killer has only just scraped the surface of what he has to say. In Ciampa's eyes, he couldn't succeed because the dead weight of Johnny Gargano held him down. He had single success in his blood, but there was a cancer in his stream. And that cancer was Johnny Gargano. At the Royal Rumble, he started the process of removing that cancer. And while Gargano may fight, at the end of the day, Tommaso Ciampa's black heart is going to stand tall over what he calls the cancer of Johnny Gargano. Tommaso Ciampa knows that Gargano is watching and listening. He's telling him to bring his biggest guns, bring his heaviest hits, bring them to guilty as charged, because Tommaso Ciampa needs to kill the cancer inside of him. He needs to kill what he created. DIY wouldn't exist or be successful without Ciampa. Ciampa created Gargano, and he plans on ending and killing Gargano at guilty as charged. Tommaso Ciampa with some heavy words. Oh, no, you are kidding me! Johnny Gargano with a steel chair into the back of Tommaso Ciampa. Gargano was supposed to be suspended. He wasn't supposed to be here at all, but that hasn't stopped him. Gargano sending Ciampa into the steel chair again. Oh my goodness, Johnny Wrestling snapped. This man is suspended, but he doesn't listen to rules. Super kick to Ciampa. Physical revenge has finally been sustained for Gargano, but he hasn't finished his business yet. Gargano has taken a microphone into his hand, and it seems as if he has something to say. I mean, I shouldn't allow this. This man is suspended for my own brand. But Gargano isn't listening to reason anymore, and it seems as if he is desperate to say what he has to say. Gargano saying that Tommaso Ciampa did not stab him in the back, he stabbed him right in the heart, looked him in the eyes as he drove the knife into his heart and hoped that he would die right there and then. Johnny Gargano doesn't die, and he will not be put down by Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa did not create Gargano, but he has no problem ending Ciampa. If Tommaso Ciampa wants a fight, he can have one. Guilty as charged. They will do it. They will fight. No rules. In Johnny Gargano's eyes, fuck the rules. But if they're gonna fight, they need to take care of business, and they want to kill each other doing it. So why don't they make it personal? Whoever loses at guilty as charged leaves the ECW brand. If you think I'm getting in the way of these two men at this point, you are out of your mind. They want to fight at guilty as charged. They want to throw the rules out the window. Fine. They've already thrown the rules of ECW out of the window. They'll fight the guilty as charged. The loser will leave ECW. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, the fight is on for guilty as charged. You want no rules? Then fuck the rules. Jesus Christ, that was just insanity in its finest form. But if they want to do it that way, then fine, they can do it that way. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to let this brew any more than it has to. I'm not going to let this reach a boiling point hotter than it already has. I am going to let them end things at guilty as charged. It will be no rules, fine. But if they want to set it so that the loser leaves ECW, I'm fine with that too. Gargano versus Ciampa will take place at guilty as charged. No title will be on the line. But the loser will leave this brand. And that is final, because I said so. Done. Now, let's get started with the action here in ECW. Ciampa's been taken out of the arena, Gargano too. We can focus on action here in ECW, which is what we do best. We start things off here with a cruiserweight match. TJP against Mustafa Ali right now. Ali wanting to bounce back from being the runner-up, basically, in that Battle Royal before the Royal Rumble. He couldn't, of course, go to the Royal Rumble. Mustafa Ali was disappointed in that, but he says he wants to bounce back, and he says he wants to take care of a few things in Ali's eyes. With the Cruiserweight title having been delivered with quite a striking blow, Ali wants to look to the future. Ali wants to look towards King of the Ring, he told me. He wouldn't mind trying to take an event like that and seeing how far he can go with it. So we'll see about that one for Ali. Here tonight, taking on TJP, a man who has been out of favor in the Cruiserweight division for the longest time, essentially. And looking to try and regain something here against Ali. Good stomps there by TJP. Nice reverse elevated DDT as well. Ali, though, in with a snappy counter on TJP. Has him up. Power bomb. Planted him with it there. And down goes TJP as a result of it. I mean, Ali has been also involved a lot with the British Empire, of course, and one Zack Sabre Jr. as well. Wonder if ZSJ wouldn't mind trying to get himself in King of the Ring, because Ali said that he would like that as well. Ali catching the boot there of TJP. Dragon screw, and TJP having to take an aggressive fall to the ground there. Russian leg sweep from Mustafa Ali, and TJP now is on the receiving end of a few moves here from one of the most entertaining cruiserweight talents week in and week out. There's no doubt about it. Whenever we see Ali on the match card, he always produces a stellar match for us to enjoy, and he's doing so right now. Great move there from Ali. A very thrilling move to witness there. And he will continue to go, rolling through. Oh, what a stop from TJP. What a stop there. Spine buster by TJP. And Ali in a little bit of trouble right now. Front face lock. Stopped in his tracks. Turned around here. Ali. Great leaping neck breaker from Mustafa Ali right there. TJP could do nothing will pretty much just take that move. And that pop-up drop kick the follow did as well. And someone is starting to fire up right now, and that someone is Mustafa Ali. Tornado DDT, and down goes TJP again. Ali calling him up to his feet here. What has he got in mind? Through the ropes he'll go again. Great neck breaker from Ali. Up high now, and he'll look to end things here. Ali. 0-5-4 to TJP. And Mustafa Ali, with TJP in the dead center middle of the ring, has just returned to his winning ways. He covers TJP here, looking to end things. There's 2, and there is 3. Mustafa Ali, your winner in Cruiserweight action to kick off this show. He wants to talk about King of the Ring. I'm fine with that. With a performance like that, there's no reason why something like that couldn't happen. Ali with a good win there to kickstart things for him towards that attempted crusade for him at King of the Ring. Will it go the way that Ali wants it to? Well, we will find out, that is for certain. But Ali can be proud of his victory that he has sustained here tonight. Ali, your winner. And, well, not much more that can be said about that. King of the Ring still a little while away, but Mustafa Ali can certainly keep his head held high with a performance like that one. TJP, not so much. Nevertheless, there is your winner, Mustafa Ali. Nice way to kick things off here in ECW after what we just saw at the start. As for next, however, it's going to be a very interesting one, because it is going to be more Cruiserweight division action, but it is the British Empire taking on the duo of Gentleman Jack Gallagher and the ECW Cruiserweight Champion, Hiromu Takahashi. More on this one up next. There is plenty to discuss regarding this match, as we saw at the end of last week's contest between Zack Gibson and Hiromu Takahashi. We witnessed Gibson pin the Cruiserweight Champion 1-2-3 right there, and I said match was settled. I said it was done. I said, yeah, he's the number 1 contender, and I stand by it. The contracts have been signed. The match is official. At guilty as charged, Hiromu Takahashi will defend the Cruiserweight Championship against Zack Gibson in a one-on-one match. As for now, it's going to be a very interesting tune-up here. 3 British men in this match, however. 2 stand for the British Empire, and 1 is standing against them. Neville and Zack Gibson, of course. It's Gentleman Jack Gallagher and Hiromu Takahashi. Takahashi basically had to find an opponent to help him fight against these guys, and he thought, well, if it's going to be involved in the Cruiserweight division, might as well pluck someone out from the Cruiserweight division, and decided to go with trusty Gentleman Jack Gallagher. Not too sure why, but that has happened, and we are due the contest here tonight between these two teams. Neville, of course, was at the Royal Rumble, but he came out at a very, very awkward number, as Corin had just made his way into the Rumble and started running roughshod, and Neville was a victim of that roughshod that was run over everyone. I think that is the nicest way of saying it. But as for now, Neville can look on and take pride in the fact that his man right here, Zack Gibson, has a chance to become the Cruiserweight Champion, has a chance to bring some gold to the British Empire. Neville couldn't do it. Gibson couldn't. Neither of those two could do it in the Royal Rumble. Sabre Jr. lost his Cruiserweight Championship in a ladder match to Takahashi. McIntyre couldn't succeed in the ECW Championship match at the Royal Rumble either. However, we'll see about next Sunday's bout, because, yes, something could certainly happen there that could provide the ECW Cruiserweight Championship coming the way of the British Empire. Once again, only this time under the other Zack in the group. Zack Gibson, who has made quite the arrival in the last few months since joining the British Empire. He has gone from being a bit of a shaky start, I think is the nicest way of saying his beginning in this group. You look at Survivor Series when he didn't get elimination, when he was a pretty poor pretty poor pick in that match, to a very entertaining Royal Rumble performance, and of course to last week's victory over Hiromu Takahashi. British Empire stand in this ring, fully ready for what they have coming their way. First time we've seen Jack Gallagher in a while in action. And a new look to him as well as he makes his way towards the ring. What I have to think about, though, is same with TJP. How much does ring rust affect someone's in-ring performance? Well, we are about to find out. I think that is certainly an interesting question to ask regarding a lot of people. And we'll see with Gallagher right now. Of course, the Cruiserweight division has kind of turned its focus over the last few weeks and months to guys like Zack Sabre Jr., Gibson, Ali, Takahashi. Those four have kind of been the head of the Cruiserweight division, and if not, if you take Gibson out of the equation, you can definitely say since about SummerSlam, it has been Ali, Sabre Jr., and Takahashi. Those guys have been the forerunners of the Cruiserweight division since about August. As a matter of fact, every single Cruiserweight title match since, June, May, thereabouts, since Sabre Jr. won the belt for the first time, and now has involved one of those three men. That is a pretty significant statistic, and since SummerSlam, it's involved all three of them. At SummerSlam, it was supposed to be Ali versus this man. What an interesting attire for Takahashi here this evening. At SummerSlam, of course, it was supposed to be Ali versus Sabre Jr. Ali was taken out of the equation, ended up being Sabre Jr. versus Takahashi. At Anarchy Rules, it was Takahashi versus Sabre Jr. At No Way Out, it was Takahashi versus Sabre Jr. versus Ali. And of course, at New Year's Revolution, there was the six-man ladder match, which Takahashi won to reclaim the Cruiserweight Championship for the second time. Here comes, though, the time bomb into the ring, ready to compete here. I've not heard from Takahashi since his loss last week to Zack Gibson in terms of how he felt about it, but he said he is ready to defend that title, and he is ready to hold on to it again against the British Empire. He has no problem doing just that. And he gets another chance here. Gets a chance for revenge as this match begins. It's going to be Neville starting things off with Jack Gallagher here. And it's certainly fit to say that over the last year or so, that title has been a very important part to three of these members of the British Empire. Neville held it for a very long time. Then it went to Sabre Jr. Sabre Jr. And of course, next Sunday, it could go to Zack Gibson, depending on what happens at Guilty as Charged. But a very stacked card made. I will talk about more news later on this evening regarding some more titles. And I think you'll enjoy what I'll have to say about that one. Usually, of course, we have 2 weeks between pay-per-views to help us... Oh, wait a minute. Oh! What the hell is all that about? Jack Gallagher just... Well, Gallagher just walked out on Takahashi. And the time bomb has been left on his own here. This is something to behold here as Gibson will look to take full advantage of it. And look at this, trying to replicate last week. Rolling up Takahashi again, trying to replicate what he pulled off last week. Oh, he almost had him. But Gallagher walking out on... Oh, don't tell me this has got something to do with the British Empire now. Don't tell me that there's a fifth member in their ranks. Why did Gallagher just walk out on Takahashi like that? The time bomb left at a 2-on-1 disadvantage now. This is some huge issue for Takahashi to have to endure so closely to Guilty as Charged. Dragon screw there from Gibson. And he lifts up Takahashi to his feet now, and well, Gallagher was in his corner a moment ago, but now he is nowhere near there, and Neville and Gibson can take full advantage of Hiromu Takahashi. Well, they can try anyway, because the Cruiserweight Champion is going to fight as much as he can. Snapmares them down here. Takahashi bringing him in. Drop kick to Neville there, and the former Cruiserweight Champion feeling the impact of it. Here we go, turns him over. Into the cover he goes now. Takahashi, I think, has just had his entire game plan changed and is now going to decide what the hell he's going to do to get a win in this one now. Neville getting a big run up here before that sliding dropkick connects into the face of the Cruiserweight Champion. Hurricanrana from him as well. The leader of the British Empire getting his hands dirty this evening against Hiromu Takahashi. And he's doing a good job of it as well, proving why he was challenging for the ECW Championship just a month ago and how close he came to winning that belt as well. Big knee in the face there. Neville turning around Takahashi. Oh, reverse Rana. And down on his neck comes the time bomb. And it seems as if in Neville's mind it is easy pickings now for Gibson to finish this one off. Oh, Takahashi trying to say that it isn't though, but a step up Enziguri will ground him again. A lot of work being done on the head in this one, and Gibson will continue it. Hammerlock DDT to Takahashi. And it might be time to end things here. Gibson, helter-skelter to Takahashi. Right into the cover he goes. And Takahashi kicks out at 2. And a very frustrated look on the face of the number 1 contender to the Cruiserweight Championship. Takahashi trying to fight back here. Has him up on his shoulders. Plunger. Takahashi got all of it. Plunger on Gibson. He covers him. Will he put him away? No! Kick out at 2 from Gibson. But Takahashi could be one move away. All he needs is D or the time bomb. Oh, stopped though by Gibson. Gibson stopping him in his tracks, and he'll look to make the tag into Neville now. And the leader of the British Empire back in this one. It might be Neville who wants to try and end things here, maybe. Kicks him right in the gut there. Tilt-a-whirl DDT, and Takahashi down into the mat, but not for long it seems. Great counter there from the Cruiserweight Champion. He may be on his own, but he is showing tremendous heart and spirit right now. The heart and spirit that made him the champion. Oh, but Neville catches the leg again. Dragon screw and Takahashi into the mat once more. Neville now seeming destined and seeming ready to end things. Up high he goes. Red Arrow! And a 2-on-1 disadvantage. Hasn't brought victory yet. Kick out at 2. And the British Empire almost flustered by this performance from Takahashi. Gibson getting aggressive now. Mauling him with punches in the face right there. Takahashi still up on his feet. Still fighting on. Gibson stopping him though. Reverse DDT to counter out. And now what is he going to do here? Takahashi slow up to his feet. He is feeling the effects of this one. But the Cruiserweight champ keeps on fighting. This isn't the pay-per-view though. And Takahashi may want to save himself for that evening. Gibson, helter-skelter once more. Cover on Takahashi, but the hand is under the bottom rope. A saving grace for Hiromu Takahashi. And he keeps on fighting as a result of it. Crucifix. And can Takahashi do something to try and end this one? Here he goes up to the second rope. And oh, Neville grounding him down. And not only that, but getting involved in the ring. Springboard 450. Takahashi down, Gibson down. Both men up to their feet at roughly the same time, and Gibson taking advantage as Takahashi turned his attention towards Neville. He rolls him up, but again Takahashi kicks out at 2. You almost forgot Jack Gallagher was in this match with the fight that Takahashi's putting on. But you have to question the integrity of Takahashi's mentality here. Should he be saving himself for guilty as charged? Cover made, trying to put away Gibson. There's 2, and it is not enough. You can tell there is some tiredness in Takahashi. He was almost limping over to Gibson there as he went to look for the hold here to try and catch a breath for himself. Stopped in his tracks. Takahashi trying to think of anything he can to take advantage here. Oh, this is going to be big. Sunset flip. Gibson hitting the outside. And Takahashi working him over out there as well. A 2-on-1 disadvantage he may be, but if... Wait a minute, is he applying... I thought he was applying D on the outside there. He's not. Stretching the arm here of Gibson though. Pulling it back, yanking on it right there. And Gibson escapes the hold. And a big lariat brings him off his feet as well. Count up to 5. What has Gibson got in mind here? Boot caught Enziguri to the Cruiserweight Champion. Gibson paying no attention to the count right now. He is in his own world, taking care of business. Hanging Takahashi on the barricade there with a ruthless move. Count. The count is up to 9. Gibson gets back in the ring, and Zach Gibson will celebrate because Takahashi hasn't beaten the count. The British Empire have beaten Takahashi, and for the second week in a row, Zach Gibson has beaten Hiromu Takahashi. Liverpool's #1 Diamond stands 2-0 against the Cruiserweight Champion, heading into their bout at guilty as charged. But the huge question has to be right now, what the hell was that by Gallagher? He walked out on him. Walked out on Takahashi. And the big question to ask is why? Is there a new member of the British Empire on the horizon, I fear? I certainly hope not. But it is time to move on to our next contest of the evening. Rusev is in action up next. Well, there have been plenty of questions to ask once again in this episode of ECW, it seems. And we haven't even reached the end of the show. Here is, though, Rusev, ready for action. It's been a little while since we last saw him in action. I think it was around Anarchy Rules time. He had a match against Samoa Joe there, suffered a defeat, and that's kind of been a forte for Rusev as of late, really. It's just been like there. He hasn't been able to excel. He hasn't been able to succeed. He's been struggling. And I think that is it says a lot about Rusev. It says a lot about, maybe his actions. Rusev is a fine athlete, and he has the size of an athlete, and he should be performing well. But there is something about Rusev, maybe it's his mentality, that just keeps on bringing him defeats. And this has been recurring for a while now for Rusev. You have to question, how long can you keep a guy like this around when there are guys killing it down in NXT week in and week out, looking for the same opportunity? There are guys of Rusev's stature doing it better down in NXT. Ishii, Brian Cage, Jeff Cobb. These are all guys who are of the same size and weight as Rusev and are killing it down on that brand. Rusev's got to do something to prove it, and oh my goodness, running down this man right here. And this is what it's all about, though, for Rusev, proving it right now as he is in singles action here. This is a proving ground match, essentially, for Rusev, and he's taking full advantage of it there. Machka kick right in the face there of this talent, and Rusev doesn't exactly seem pressed on letting this match go much longer, because the Accolade is locked in already, and things could be about to end right here. Middle of the ring, nowhere to go. Rusev looking for the submission, and he'll get it. Rusev, your winner, and he's not letting go of the hold either. Yanking it on, keeping it there until he wanted to let go. Rusev, your winner, in quick succession as well. Well, there you have it. Rusev takes care of business the way he wants to right now. And oh no. Oh god, Rusev hasn't let up either. Rusev not letting up here. His aggression continuing to show. Fall away slam. Well, this wasn't in the plan, that's for certain, but Rusev gonna make his own plan. The Accolade is locked in once again. The Accolade is applied. Rusev making a statement with this boy right now. And as he lets go, wait a minute, that's the theme of Brian Kendrick. And Rusev looking on in a little bit of confusion as the Brian Kendrick is making his way out here. Kendrick heading towards the ring right now. I'm not too certain what this is all about. I'm a little bit confused right here. Lana looking on at ringside. There's a little bit of a smirk on Lana's face. It seems that she knows what this is all about. Maybe, well, they certainly seem to know something that we don't. So, what the hell's going on here? Can someone please elaborate? Oh, that is what it is all about. Kendrick saying hello to his new partner in Rusev. What happened to Kevin Nash? Well, last week, Kendrick had enough of Nash. He had enough of someone dragging him around and dragging him down. And Kendrick made it apparent in front of everyone that his career was over. Apparently, there's some kind of tape for us to see as well. And well, this came after their loss to the Four Horsemen last week. You can see Kendrick and Nash having a war of words almost, and Kendrick just flat out walking out on him, ignoring whatever Nash is saying to him, and basically just turning his back on him. Kendrick wanting no part of Nash anymore. And well, that definitely proved a lot of things. And Brian Kendrick is happy with the man he has now. A bodyguard who will do what Kendrick expects from him. The genius mind of Kendrick and the lovely lady of Lana at ringside. In Kendrick's eyes, the brand is their oyster, and they start at guilty as charged because they are challenging Downfall. At the pay-per-view, they will take the titles from them. Greatness, it seems, has arrived in the mind of Kendrick. Well, there you have it. The Brian Kendrick has replaced Kevin Nash and brought in Rusev. That is a very interesting change of scenery for the Brian Kendrick, and maybe two men who can make something happen. And they're challenging Downfall as well. That is pretty significant. I have to say it. That is ballsy from Kendrick and Rusev. A team for not even a cup of coffee, and they are challenging the ECW Tag Team Champions, and as it currently stands, one of the most dominant team in this universe. That's a very interesting and a very brave idea from those two men, but there are some teams I think that would take exception to that, and a team that has been rising through the ranks as of late. I'll talk more about that maybe next week on our go-home show to Guilty as Charged, but as for now, I want to focus on the match that is happening right in front of us. Bray Wyatt heading towards the ring, ready to do battle here for the first time against Switchblade Jay White. The ECW Television Champion will be back in action here tonight after a slight absence. Jay White will be competing at ECW Guilty as Charged. He will be defending that ECW Television Championship, and he will be facing Andrade Cien Almas for the belt as well. I can confirm that will happen. We are in for a match between those two sides at Guilty as Charged. There's been enough build-up, there's been enough talking points, and it is time that we take action between those two guys. El Idolo will face the Switchblade at Guilty as Charged, and there you have it. 3 title matches, of course, will be coming your way at Guilty as Charged. The main title being missed out on. Rollins out of action until at the very least the end of February. As a result, we'll have to miss the Guilty as Charged pay-per-view. I'll talk more about that if I get the chance to next week, in all honesty, because there isn't really that much I have to say. A week has passed, but Rollins is still recuperating the injuries, and I think enough is happening on this show that I don't really have all that. What I would say would kind of get lost in the shuffle regarding Rollins if I did have anything to say. So I'll save it for a less busy time, but there is some very interesting facts about this pay-per-view being missed that I will discuss regarding Rollins in a short while. Well, maybe next week or so, or the pay-per-view itself. As for now, we're ready to go here. Bray Wyatt ready in the ring to face off against the Switchblade. Jay White has been out of action since, well, the week after he won his ECW Television Championship. So about 3-4 weeks now for Jay White with no in-ring action. But now he is ready to go. He is ready to fight, and he is ready to defend his championship at Guilty as Charged against Andrade Cien Almas. El Idolo not here tonight. Ran out of the arena last week by White following an attempted attack on Cedric Alexander. White said that it was just about sending a message to Andrade and letting him know that he is not safe. And that was a very interesting idea from Jay White, and it did the job. And it certainly has fired things up between the two sides as they get ready to do battle at Guilty as Charged. Going to be a thrilling title match on that evening, and one that certainly is fitting the evening's message right now. That bad blood in amongst everyone, that hateful nature that a lot of people are sharing. By a lot of people, I mean the main event. Wow. Yeah. Kind of just revealed what the plan for that one is as it stands. With the card currently as it is, I don't really have any intention of making any other match the headliner. Gargano versus Ciampa will probably be the main event of Guilty as Charged. And after these last 2 weeks where they've basically been headlining the show, there's no reason why I would choose otherwise as well. But nevertheless, I'd like to actually focus away from Gargano and Ciampa for a little while and focus on an actual wrestling match here this evening. We've only had one of them. The other one was strewn in controversy. Another one was Rusev beating someone up in about 4 minutes. Not even that. About 40 seconds. Jay White versus Bray Wyatt here. Two very similar finishing maneuvers. Sister Abigail against the Blade Runner. And we'll see which one will be more effective to grant them victory. The Wyatt family has gone a little bit silent over the last few months. Has to be said. Alistair Black, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, they've not really had the impact that they had at kind of the start and certainly the middle of the year as well. So that is a very interesting thing to take note of. As for now, though, Bray Wyatt in action. And Jay White, his opponent, of course. White, though, certainly has intentions of returning with a big swing as well, following his time missed with an injury. Headlock punch there from White. Back suplex attempt incoming there. Great strength from White to lift him up. Quick strike from him there as well. Irish whip now off the ropes. Drop down there from Jay White. Leapfrog from the switchblade as well, but he couldn't capitalize there. Mistimed it. And oh, Wyatt will take full advantage. Coming in there with a swinging strike, essentially. But again, nice back suplex there from Jay White. And he has regained control of this match here. What are we going to see here? Oh, lovely reverse STO. And into the mat there goes Jay White. Goes Bray Wyatt as a result of it. Jay White in complete control here, but Bray Wyatt stopping him in his tracks. Wyatt knows what it's like to hold on to that television championship. He is a former television champion. For losing the belt to someone. I forgot who it was. Wade Barrett, maybe it might have been. That was a long time ago if that was the case. Choking Jay White out here is Bray Wyatt, though, as the leader of the Wyatt family now starting to get a bit more aggressive in this match. Cover made here by Wyatt, looking to put away Jay White here. Be a big win for Wyatt if he could get a win over the television champion. White, who has had a great 2018 and starts the year with a belt right now, looking to, just keep on going, essentially. In the turnbuckle now, seated down there, Jay White going for quite a ride. Jay White now going to have to think about turning things around here, because the last thing he wants is to not look as strong as he can. A very short time away from that title match against Andrade, the undefeated man, the undefeated challenger, who of course will be desperate to take the belt away from Jay White. And it is all about White having to look as good as possible. Kiwi Crusher from White. Recovery goes into, oh, what an early kick out there from Bray Wyatt, certainly showing that he is not intending to let White have an easy win. He'll go for it again. Another Kiwi Crusher from the switchblade. And White might be about to end things here. Big chop in the chest and a sudden flurry of moves coming from the switchblade. What a flapjack there. Bray Wyatt just a passenger to it and nothing more. And all we wait for is Blade Runner, but Wyatt putting the stop on that one. Wyatt in, Uranagi Slam. Uranagi Slam to the television champion. And Wyatt might be looking to end things. Gut wrench, suplex. How close is he? How close is Wyatt to suddenly turning things around? He's cut open the television champion. He has cut open Jay White here. Cover made. Trying to put him away, but a kick out at one. White still very much so fighting in this one. Huge kick in the back. And here we go. Wyatt going to look to end things. Wyatt going to look for a huge win. Lining up a variation of Sister Abigail, but White stops him. White stops him. And Bray stops him as well. Looking to run him down. Oh, big stop there by Jay White. Big stop by the switchblade. Back and forth counters between these two guys. White in. Blade Runner. Cover made by White after it. And there is your winner. The Switchblade victorious just when he needed to be. Right around the corner from an important title defense. His first title defense, no less. Bray Wyatt putting up an almighty fight there, and he is still on his feet after the loss But Jay White very happy with his victory that he has sustained here this evening. Wait a minute. Jay White getting aggressive here. The Switchblade with a point to prove. The Switchblade taking out his aggression on Bray Wyatt. This is what Andrade has caused, and this is his doing. Into the steps goes Bray Wyatt. Jay White taking full action there. Andrade might be proud of what has happened, because honestly, Jay White may have made a mistake of messing with Bray Wyatt. I'm just saying, you mess with the head of a family and the rest aren't that far behind. White your winner though, and that's all that really matters to him. We move on to our main event of the evening though. A New Year's Revolution rematch on its way. Drew McIntyre against Kenny Omega. Alright, well, it's been a very intriguing night of action from top to bottom here, but it is going to be capped off with a great main event. A rematch from New Year's Revolution between two men who probably still despise one another, Drew McIntyre and Kenny Omega. McIntyre, we were left a little bit wondering what was next for McIntyre. He lost to Rollins, and there wasn't really much idea for what McIntyre could do, but he showed it last week. He hasn't explained his actions, he hasn't said why, but he did attack Tetsuya Naito as Naito stood in the ring of the main event, and the guy was just standing there. He saw the fight happening on the stage, and Naito was just standing there, arms crossed. He didn't care, but he did care when McIntyre came in, blasted him from behind, and laid him out in the ring with a Claymore kick. Naito seemed pretty aggressive when he got backstage, pretty heated. And I'll say right now that if things are going to heat up between those two guys this close to guilty as charged, I don't mind chucking another match on the card, another grudge match between those two. I think I know where it stems from. And it's just before the Royal Rumble. If you remember, McIntyre was facing Naito on that evening. The distraction from Seth Rollins gave the win to Tetsuya Naito. And I think that has led in large part to McIntyre having some bad blood with Naito. See about that though, but as for right now, he needs to have his eyes firmly focused on Kenny Omega, the two-time King of the Ring winner. Will Omega seek number 3 this year, I wonder? Is he deciding to go into that King of the Ring tournament one more time? I honestly couldn't tell you. I couldn't. Omega and I have not talked about it, and I don't know if he would want to do it again either. 2 victories under his belt. Would he want to be in it for a 3rd time, or has he done all that he can with that tournament? When Omega won it 2 years ago, it took him to the Intercontinental title. When he won it last year, it took him to the main event of SummerSlam and a Match of the Year candidate against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Title for title, of course. Who can forget that match on that evening? What about it was? Omega's end of the year, though, not as good as his start of the year. Loss, of course, to McIntyre in New Year's Revolution, and a disappointing Royal Rumble performance. Omega said it was, Omega was talking to me about it, he said it was a lapse in concentration. He just kind of blanked. It was like Omega didn't know what he was doing in the Rumble, and it cost him. Omega's not going to complain about the elimination. It happened. And Omega needs to know that he can't keep on lapsing like that. He needs to know that his form needs to turn around, and he has to do something about it. So Kenny Omega looking to try and return to that form here tonight with a big match against Drew McIntyre, and a big chance of some retribution for Omega. Maybe not revenge, but certainly retribution. These two guys, of course, did face it at New Year's Revolution. There was a lot of heated nature heading into that match between the two, and it was McIntyre who beat Omega, denying the one-winged angel from ever striking in that contest as well. A month has passed since then, and I wonder what has gone through both men's minds regarding one another since then. I imagine more through Omega's minds than McIntyre's, since he was so focused on the television title, on the ECW title rather. Quick strike attempt there, countered by Omega. Big chop in the chest, huge lariat as well. McIntyre goes down. Look at that there though, McIntyre just shrugging off the kick. Both men looking to swing at each other, but it was McIntyre who connected first, and reverse Alabama slam on its way. A hefty impact for Omega into the ring there. Oh, what a heavy blow it is indeed. Headbutt attempt, counter by Omega. Big lariat, and down goes McIntyre. McIntyre able to roll out the way and a lariat of his own. Flattens Kenny Omega there. Definitely see there is no love lost between these two guys. They still certainly have a deep despise for one another. Big lariat there to the back of McIntyre, up in the back of his neck as well. That's for certain. In the back to go with it. Omega getting aggressive here on the start, and McIntyre will always do the same. He loves a good aggressive start. You guys not wanting to battle on the outside there. Back in the ring we go. Omega in the corner, countered by McIntyre. And he'll take full advantage here, demonstrating his strength. Launching him away with that belly-to-belly suplex. Oh! It seems as if a certain man did take some offense to last week. Naito's theme. Both men, the referee and McIntyre, facing the wrong direction. Because there's Naito. Destino. Naito has no problem getting involved in that business. No problem getting revenge. Naito out of here. Referee in for the count. And McIntyre isn't getting up either. Omega wins. McIntyre cost a victory from Naito. You mess with El Ingobernable and you certainly get the worst of him. Naito balancing the books for last week's assault by costing McIntyre another victory. Omega, your winner. Oh, and things haven't ended here. Omega hasn't finished here, like I said. He's taking a microphone right now. And it seems as if he has something to say here. Omega saying that he certainly didn't expect things to go that way, but revenge is revenge for him. He has his win over McIntyre, and whatever he has to do with Naito, well, that's his problem. He has not got any time for that because he has issues of his own to set. There was someone pretty big around here. Not Rollins, not Neville, not Corin. Who is it then? Ho 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 ho! Kenny Omega is calling out Adam Cole. He wants to fight him at guilty as charged. He had a win over the man who won the Royal Rumble. So in Kenny Omega's eyes, that gives him a shot at the prize that Adam Cole won at the Royal Rumble. Kenny Omega wants to fight Adam Cole for the shot at the main event of WrestleMania. Will Adam Cole respond? Oh, he certainly will. Adam Cole not going to waste any time in accepting that challenge. The 2019 Royal Rumble winner is heading towards the ring in full jest. It's been a week and the celebrations still haven't died down for this man. All the cocaine has been taken. All of it. And that still isn't enough to keep Adam Cole around, it seems. Well, he looks in the face of Kenny Omega. Two former Bullet Club members looking at one another. Well, I think this is the last week we're going to allow him on the cocaine, I'll be honest. I think after this, it's a little bit shaky. But a huge challenge made there by Kenny Omega to Adam Cole. And Cole asking him, he wants it. He wants to wow the world once more, guilty as charged. Adam Cole is a fighter. He fought his right to the main event of WrestleMania, while Omega got dumped on his ass by Corin. But Adam Cole beat him. That being said, he accepts. We are on for guilty as charged. Omega versus Cole. And Kenny Omega with his rebuttal. It is settled. The right to the main event of WrestleMania is on the line at guilty as charged. He doesn't know what Cole is planning on doing with it, but Omega knows what he's going after. One man, one title, one record. As for that match, he can kiss the right goodbye and good night, baby. Oh, look at this between the two. Oh, what the? Omega getting aggressive, swinging at Cole. He wants to start fighting now. These two men are going to have a fight right now to close things out in ECW. Omega is almost driven insane by the thought of the main event of WrestleMania and the fight at the main event of Guilty as Charged. is on right now. Why do I keep on saying the main event? But the fight is on right now between Cole and Omega. These two men will do battle. And guilty is charged. These two men will fight for the right to Adam Cole's main event contract at WrestleMania. But they are doing battle right now. And I'm not too sure how I feel about this, but we need someone to stop this. Omega blasting Cole with a lariat. Official in the ring to split them up. But at guilty as charged, it is free reign for the main event shot.